look at every symbol, but we will look at some. John says, I saw a beast rise up out of the sea. So there's a beast power having 7 heads and 10 horns, upon his horns 10 crowns, upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. His feet were as the feet of a bear, his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. Now what do those leopard, bear, and lion, what do those remind you of from another part of the Bible? What's that? Okay, Babylon was the lion. And how about the bear that had 3 ribs in its mouth? You remember who that was? Medes and Persians. That's right. And the leopard. Who was that power that had 4 wings of a fowl and 4 heads? Greece. That's right, Greece. So this power in Revelation 13 takes on the characteristics of Babylon and Medo-Persia and Greece. It commits blasphemy. We're going to see what blasphemy is. We're going to find out who the dragon is who gave this world power his authority. We're going to find out all these symbols this morning. Next slide. Okay, we know from Daniel 7 verses 17 and 23 that a beast, as the Bible says, these great beasts which are 4 kings or kingdoms which shall arise out of the earth. And the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth. So obviously we have in Revelation 13, we have a world power, we have a kingdom that's bearing sway over the world. Now the sea, how about the sea from which this world power rises? Revelation 17:15 tells us the water, or the sea, which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So this beast in Revelation 13, it's a world power, and it rises up in an area of the world where there have always been peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So this first world power in Revelation 13 could not have arisen in the New World. It had to have arisen in the old world of the Mediterranean Sea. Because throughout the great history of this world, there have always been nations and peoples in that area of the world, in the Middle East. Okay, next slide. Let's see. How about blasphemy? This world power commits blasphemy. Well, the Bible is very clear as to what blasphemy is. Jesus twice was charged with blasphemy. Once in John 10:30-33, and also in Mark 2:5-7. Notice, I and my Father are one. The Jews answered him, saying, For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, because that thou, being a man, makest thyself God. So one way that this world power commits blasphemy is, it's a world power controlled by a man, but that man claims to be God on earth. Now that's quite simple. Here's the other way that we commit blasphemy in Mark 2:5-7. Notice what the Bible says. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the sick of the palsy, Son, thy sins be forgiven thee. But there were certain of the scribes sitting there and reasoning in their hearts, Why doth this man thus speak blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God only? So Jesus was charged with blasphemy because he forgave that man of his sins. Well, Christ could forgive, couldn't he? And thank God he can. He can forgive. But when a man claims that same authority and that same power, that's blasphemy. So So this world power in Revelation 13 rises in the old world of the Middle East, of the Mediterranean world. It claims to be God on earth and claims it can forgive sins. Who could that world power possibly be, just based on those symbols alone? Next slide. A beast, a world power, a kingdom, rises up out of the sea, which is the old world where there have always been masses of people. This political power, the beast, it's also a religious power because it claims to be God on earth and claims it can forgive people of their sins. So this beast in Revelation 13 is a political, but it's also a religious power. Rises up in the Mediterranean world, thinks that it's God, and claims it can forgive sins. Next slide. Who could it possibly be? Let's see, there's more clues. The Bible says that this world power was like a leopard. His feet were as the feet of a bear, his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. Now we noticed that these three powers, the leopard, we see in Daniel 7. That should be Daniel 7 and verse 6, not verse 5. It should be verse 6. The leopard in Daniel 7 and verse 6 was Greece. And Greece was the power that gave us the idea that people are immortal. That you and I are immortal. Well, the Bible doesn't say that. Only God, the Bible says, has immortality. But Greece told the world that idea. And this world power has picked it up and incorporated it into their religious beliefs. The bear, we notice in Daniel 7 and verse 5, represents Medo-Persia. And the Medo-Persian leaders believed that they were gods that deserved reverence. They believed that whatever they said was absolutely unchangeable. That's what they taught. And so this beast power, this world power in Revelation 13, claims that same authority. That whatever they say is absolute law that can't be changed.